Schedule-wise, exercise right before bedtime. Exercise is important in MS, but exercise right before bed kind of ups the metabolism and makes it less likely to get good sleep. Some gentle stretching before bedtime can also prevent the nighttime cramps and stiffness that wake people up. Mm-hmm. And then MS throws in all those variables, like an overactive bladder. Can wake people up every hour all night. That's certainly not conducive to sleep, and there are different things your doctor can do to help out with that. Fluid restriction before bedtime can be helpful, but if someone's already fluid restricted all day because they're teaching school and don't get bathroom breaks or just don't have the opportunity to get their fluids in, it's not going to help their constipation and all the other things that can happen in MS. So it's a delicate balancing act, and I think it's important that people with MS pay attention to understanding sleep, and looking at programs like this may be helpful.
As someone with MS, I'm certainly aware of, the big looming MS fatigue. It's something I've experienced, and the majority of people that I know with MS always talk about this fatigue. And it's interesting to have the concept of fatigue versus the concept of sleep. Can you talk about kind of the distinction?
It sometimes is clear-cut, and sometimes it is not. I think for typical MS fatigue, it is usually minimal or almost absent when people wake up. And so if somebody wakes up and they have great energy, but by the time they're dressed, showered, off to work, they're exhausted, or sometimes not even that much, that could be indeed MS fatigue. Whereas if somebody wakes up and they're dead tired, before they're out of bed, they're just exhausted, chances are that they may have some other disturbance. And it could be a general medical problem like thyroid or diabetes. It could be a medication effect from their anti-spasticity medicines they took before bedtime, or an antidepressant medicine that was taken and caused drowsiness. But it could also be a sign of poor sleep or a sleep disturbance, like sleep apnea, like periodic limb movements, restless legs, some of the things that people with MS may be actually more prone to rather than protected from.
The other thing that I found from my experience is, when I, pre-MS, I think that part of me thought, taking a nap or, sleeping late was something that was kind of indulgent or lazy. And, as I kind of have progressed in my own MS journey, the whole concept of sleep has turned into something a little bit more therapeutic, that it's something that your body really needs and it can be restorative. Do you feel the same way for your patients?
Yeah, sleep is something that is necessary for the body. It's not a great sign of good health to say, I'm just going to skip sleep or push through. And sometimes that's the best medicine, is instead of taking another chemical or pill into your body, sometimes scheduling a break, and sometimes it's just rest, even not sleep. MS fatigue often responds quite well when people have cooler temperatures, the cooling vest, cold beverages. Sleep disturbance-related fatigue tends not to respond much to colder temperatures.
These are obviously some great tips for people to kind of change their lifestyle to try to help with the sleeping issue, but what if these strategies don't work?
Well, there are many different options. Mood can be a significant component, and many people are reluctant to see someone for their anxiety or depression, but it can be much better than throwing medications at the problem, or worse yet, using alcohol to try to fall asleep, which can get people to sleep, but it ruins the sleep structure at night and doesn't help and can lead to other problems.
Doesn't help in the morning either.
No, it doesn't. The other issues, people may want to see a board-certified sleep specialist to consider a polysomnogram, which is a sleep study. And that is where we monitor the brain waves, we look at how breathing and movement is going. Are people getting deep enough sleep, going through the normal structures of sleep? But there's a whole community of both neurologists, pulmonologists, and mental health professionals, a variety of people who can help with sleep disturbance. But it's good to start off with talking with your neurologist and possibly even your family physician.
Dr. Hyman, thank you so much for giving us some insight about sleep. For MS Learn Online, this is Kate Milliken. Thank you for joining us.